It's Buzzwood, I bust through when bus moves. Stay true to kill it, to stay smooth. Handsome brothers stay set in the mood, but they wanted funky rhymes from the brother so cool. Trying to check the vibes and set the conversation. The keenest minds to find this observation. I'm on 10 podcast, so don't not face it. We'll be the first to declare our greatness. Checking out, check out, I'm checking it twice on the weekly. I'm busting, cause busting is life. If you don't know, now you do though. You should peep game, that'd be cool though. Cause your part is crucial, so get on the movement. If you ain't busting, don't know what you doing. Wasting your time and ignoring the truest. Some of the realest, they greatly influence. Kings in Montana creating a movement. Scrapping or rapping or laughing or acting. It really don't matter, cause this is our passion. We busting and trusting, it really is something. When it comes to our family, you know that we love them. That's how we roll. Montana in the house and we taking control. Podcast kings in the place to be. We taking over, just wait and see.
Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz will be on tonight. No bull stand true and tried. It's Buzzwood, it's ride or die. Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz will be on tonight. No bull stand true and tried. It's Buzzwood, it's ride or die.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Weekly Bus. We are going live and we got a special guest, and I mean special. We got our sponsors in here, and they are, as a team, they go as the premier team, and they are in the business of buying and selling your guys' homes. How you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
So the premier team is associated with Dustin Young and Company as well, just so you guys know and you ain't confused. Each of their names, I'm going to have them introduce themselves, but Amber's next to me, Audrey's in the middle, and we got Paul over there by Levi.
The man, the myth, the legend.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a second just to introduce you guys yourselves. So just a quick who you are, and where you guys have lived all your lives, I guess. Just a little bit of background on you guys.
I'm Amber Showers. I have lived here my whole life. I've been in real estate for almost 5 years now, and yeah, that's about me, I guess.
Awesome.
All right, I'm Audrey Lazzarini. I have been in Great Falls for about 9 years now. Before that, I actually lived in Palm Springs, California. Don't kill me. And then after that, I actually went to Colorado Springs and then came here to be with family. So I've been here ever since. And I've been also in real estate about 5 years now, too.
Awesome.
I'm Paul Brannon. I grew up in Sydney, Montana, and I have also been in Great Falls for about 9 or 10 years now. And I've been selling real estate for going on 3 years, I believe.
All right, so that's a perfect segue. So my next question for each of you guys is, not everybody's a good salesman, and a lot of people are afraid to sell, and especially getting into, I think, one of the harder businesses in sales. How did you guys get into realty?
I was working at a casino for about 7 years, and on my way to work every day, I was just kind of feeling miserable. And every day I prayed, I was like, God, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life because I cannot keep coming here. And eventually I just kind of got this idea of going into real estate, and it felt really good. And I went and hung out at a brokerage for a little bit before I got licensed. And then I got into it, and it hit the ground running from there.
Nice. I actually really love this.
Yeah.
So basically, I've always kind of done sales throughout my life. But what really got me into real estate was my mom does, it's called Right Away. And essentially what she does is eminent domain stuff. And so to kind of say that in a different terms is that basically what she does is if a railway needs to expand or roads, she works for Arizona, California, major companies, and she's a consultant. So she does the harder part, legal side, and also state side of real estate. And when COVID happened, I decided to take a leap of faith and loved real estate. So I hit the ground running. Dustin Young actually gave me the opportunity to be his assistant, and I haven't looked back since. So.
Oh yeah, you've expanded a lot, since you've exploded onto the scene. Both of you guys have. And Paul, what about you, my man?
Well, I was selling insurance for State Farm, and I was in a relationship with Audrey. Our relationship was just beginning at that time, and after a little while of doing that, she began to get really busy and quite successful and doing really well with that. So I was sitting there at my desk, and same thing as Amber, I was had a good job, but just like wasn't really fulfilled. Didn't really feel like I felt like I could do a lot more. And so she needed my help. So I basically
She lured you to the dark side.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
One day I was like, I quit. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, put my 2 weeks in. Here we go. And she's like, all right, let's do it. So
You guys seem to be kicking ass though, man. They've expanded. You got your own thing going on, roofing too as well.
yep. Yeah. So I kind of got my way through college doing that. Learned from a good friend of mine. And then when she had a bunch of transactions that needed new roofs. And so here we go. And I was like, well, I can do that. And so I was like, well, I can kind of try to do both and try to do more real estate. But then when it needs a roof or we need a roof done, then
It's kind of smart. You go hand in hand together.
How long have you been doing roofs then?
well, since college, which would have been 2015 through 2018 ish.
Oh,
So
okay.
going on,
Nice.
8-9 years of doing that.
It's
as
cool
well.
to branch out, man. You guys are staying busy, man. All in your own avenues of things. But what some of the juice and beans I want to get to, because I don't want to keep you guys all night. I have questions for you as far as the current market's going. We're getting a lot of changes from Montana. You've seen all the crazy politics stuff about Tim Sheehy and property this, property that. So people are concerned and what's going on with the market. Yeah.
Land that, right?
With Trump's administration, going to be changing everything as far as how the landscape of everything's going, as far as housing markets and all that. You guys expect to see a big change in the housing market?
So I expect a big change when rates change, and everybody's been kind of waiting for that for many years. So when it does hit, which it has to, I feel like, in my opinion, it's going to be a competitive market. I don't think it's going to be a 2020 market. Now, again, this is my opinion, but I think it will be multiple offer situations again. Probably not money over appraisal type of thing like we had in 2020 where it was outrageous. But I do think we will have a bigger buyer pool and more activity when the rates do drop.
Okay, yeah, that's that makes a lot of sense. And how fast do you think is that? Like, have you gone through a couple of administration changes? Just one so far?
Yeah, I guess just one.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing for buyers or anyone getting into wanting to buy a home would be go to a lender, find out how much you can afford at the time of where you are in your life right now.
Yeah.
And then get the numbers in front of you. And then don't try to time the market because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a ball. I can't tell you what it's going to be like in 5 months, 3 months from now. All I can tell you is if you can afford that much, then I can find you a home for that. And then,
That's awesome. Actually, that's a good way of putting
and
it.
then you'll build your equity. But buy what you can afford, buy what you're comfortable with, and stop trying to time the market because it will never be the right time, right? Like just when you're trying to force things or you just do what feels right.
That's an excellent answer because one of my major topics was, what is one of those things that you can get over the anxiety of having, your potential buyer considering what is the best time?
Yeah.
There is no good time.
There's no good time. You buy when you can afford to buy. Like if right now, if what you could afford to buy is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo, buy it, live in it, update it, live in it for a few years, make some equity on it, sell it, and then buy your next home. But you don't need, if you put so much pressure on yourself of like, what president or what are the rates, what is that? You're never going to do it. You're never going to make the jump. So just make the jump, buy it, build the equity.
Yeah, I have something to add to that. So also, I agree with all of that. But also right now, as soon as you approach holidays and things like that, it's still a good time to sell and that sort of thing. But also for our buyers, it's also a good time to buy around that time. The buyer pool is statistically a little bit less during the holidays. So if you need closing cost help and that sort of thing, I say get into it now. Right. Now is a good time, especially for buyers. So closing costs is what you bring to the table to buy a house. You're going to need, typically the numbers are about 3% of the purchase price is how you do the math. So on 300,000, 3% of that is what you would have to bring. If you need that help or you don't have that, you can ask for that from the seller. Doesn't happen every time, but it can be negotiated. So to do that around the holidays where maybe a family needs to leave, they may be more considerate in doing that. So,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So as you three, you guys have your own team, right? So what sets you guys apart from other realtors, say? Go
I
ahead.
would say that we go above and beyond, and I'm not being cliche when we say that. Like, we want you to have a good experience. I want when you look back at whether you're buying or selling, that it wasn't as stressful or you didn't feel like you were being neglected. And our communication is really great. And I think that we do things that other agents don't normally do.
Okay.
And I think with our team, you get 3 of us, right? We have 3 different personalities that are going to help with a large variety of buyers, and we have a wide range of knowledge. So
I love that answer.
So-
That's what makes it a team, the premier team.
that's right. And these 2 being in the business longer, they know probably a little more than I do, but something that I know you're going to talk about, and I don't want to jump forward, but with the house flipping and all of the construction stuff that we have done over
Let's just
the
get into it.
years,
Let's segue right into that.
I mean, we know the processes and procedures for all that stuff. So when something comes up with a house that might be scary to a buyer, we have the knowledge and the ability to talk to them about it. I can tell you how much it's going to cost to replace all of those things as we're walking through a house, and who is going to be people that are able to get that job done very well and at a good price too.
You guys have the advantage of having the weapons that you just labeled without even kind of knowing it. Really, you guys played into each other so well, and that's good teammate. Like, that's good teamwork, because she just said prior to that it's not necessarily, there's not really a good set perfect time for you to buy a home. Kind of just get into it, whether if you feel comfortable and it's right for you, and then move forward, right? Well, you also gave the solution. So when it's time to move forward, you guys can also help in that process as well. That's one of the advantages that he asked about, like, what makes you guys different? And you said that we go above and beyond. There's your example right there.
What I'd like to add to that too, I am coached by a coach in Miami. So I also, what I take and what I learn, I give to the team as well. Anthony Nucci, shout out to him. But also what I also do is we do core coaching. And so that's huge to us. So we try to bring different techniques and things to Great Falls that maybe Great Falls doesn't have. We also we just love the fact that we can do professional photography. I also helped my sister start a side business. She does staging. So she stages homes. So what we are able to do for our clients, and we despise cell phone photos. The only time I will do cell phone photos is if that thing is demolished and taken apart and I can't get.
We still edit the
Yeah.
cell phone photos,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
We're not going to be in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we're talking like 150,000 or less, or 100,000 less, because it's demolished, or maybe the seller only can't get me in and they're giving me cell phone photos, that sort of thing. But if it's a house on the market, livable, that thing's getting professional photos every time. So
Yeah.
that's one of my pet peeves. So,
I think for us too is if we have a client who's buying an $800,000 home, or if we have a client buying a $150,000 home, they're going to get treated the same way all across the board.
That's awesome.
So I got one. So
Yes, sir.
how do you guys determine what's the best house to show, say, a new client that just walked in? Like,
Well, one
Is that a
budget,
yeah.
Yeah.
We work backwards.
Yeah.
work back.
budget. If I have a buyer who I know they might need help with closing costs, going to look at a home that already has 4 offers on it might not be the greatest thing to go look at. I'll show it anyways, but really we go with budget, and then you listen to what they need and what they want, and then narrow it down from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to show above their price point.
Before we get into like the purchasing process, like there's a question that kind of led up to it. I think for me, what's the pros and cons of, and definitely what's the difference between owning and purchasing a home? And can you guys get into the details of that? Yeah, like some people are on the fence to
Renting
just,
versus-
they'd
Yeah.
prefer to rent or prefer to
Well,
own,
if you
and
own-
what is the, because everyone wants to own something, but there's a lot of cons and a lot of pros that come with it. Can we get
Yeah.
into those?
Yeah, if you want to own, then you're paying your own mortgage. If you want to rent, then you're paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is. But if you are somebody who doesn't want to be, obligated to replace a water heater or fix a furnace or have to file an insurance claim to replace your roof, then maybe home ownership isn't for you. If you just want to move in and have somebody do it for you, that's great. But if you are open to doing that and building your own equity, then home ownership is awesome.
There's a common, you see it online a lot. You see a common theme, especially the topic comes up a lot when it comes to inflation and shit like that. But like, at what point does debt to ratio, you know what I mean? Like debt to income ratio come into factor when people are paying the exact same amount for mortgage versus rent, you know?
Yeah, so I would say we talk to our lenders on the debt to income ratio and all that sort of thing on ratios, but it used to be where the rates, home rates to buy, like mortgage rates, were substantially lower, so your payment was lower than renting. Now we're either even or we're more with buying a
Right,
house.
yes.
That is the truth. That is the market we're in today. But it is still worth it because of how much Great Falls is increasing year over year.
Right.
So you're still at least making your money back instead of.
Are you even like, are you seeing more people push to ownership since the rent to mortgage rate is almost equal?
I think if you look at Zillow rents and you look at the rental market, I think more people are pushing to buy because the rental market in Great Falls is insane.
It is
Nobody
insane,
allows
yes.
pets. It's getting a little scary. It's sad. There's a lot of people trying to just room together. People can't even find roommates. It's just getting unaffordable. So having your own house, and then there's ways that you can actually rent by the room, and that can also increase your debt to income ratio because you're now claiming income, and you
Yeah.
can do basically leases by the room, and lenders can go off of that because it's income.
Especially with Montana, do you guys see a lot of purchasing, especially done for just Airbnbs?
They're not as much as there used to be, and that's because rates and things like that is keeping the mortgage, the payment is a lot higher, that they have to keep that in mind. Now, when you do furnished rentals and when you do Airbnbs, we do have some, so it still pencils out because your nightly rate is pretty great. But you just have to make sure that it's designed properly and you buy the right property.
So with Great Falls, I feel like we're a bit behind on growth. I feel like places like Missoula,
I love that you're
Kalispell,
going
Bozeman,
here.
they're expanding maybe like, say 200 plus houses a year, where I feel like we're only growing about 50, 55. You know what I mean? Has that been the same or minus since you guys have started?
And especially since you guys are like, I might be misquoted here, but you guys are like the best realtors around in this area. Is it hard to, kind of, is it like a limited hand, and you're all trying to grab from the same pot? Does it make it harder to sell when it's such a limited, hold?
I mean,
I don't know where to go with this question. I think that we need to have more homes built every year. No doubt.
Is that right?
So
Okay,
yeah.
so that's been my main. I think
Yeah.
as far as our economy, are we just behind as far as we can't build them fast
So
enough?
my opinion on this whole thing
That was a
is
good
that
question, Levi.
I think that millennials are the biggest generation that we have, right?
Yeah.
We're all, 30s basically wanting to buy a home. And so when you have the older generation, like they're living in their 4 or 5 bedroom homes right now,
Mhm.
but they have nowhere to go because we really need more 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom,
Single
yes,
level.
1 level homes, so that these older people who are living in these 4 or 5 bedroom homes can move out. But that they need these homes that they're building to be affordable, because the older people just don't have anywhere to go.
And I also think I want to stack Great Falls does feel like for the first time in 30 years, we're having a lot of growth.
Yeah.
A lot of people are considering Great Falls
We have
as a
a lot of
place to
good
be.
stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's changing a lot. And I'm not going to, maybe you guys can add in on this, but Yellowstone comes up a lot. And it's not because we bring it up a lot. It's just the idea of Montana becoming popular is becoming because of Yellowstone.
In 2020, I had multiple buyers that were moving here because, like, they literally, I was like, "Oh, what brings you to Great Falls?" And they were like, "Well, we watched Yellowstone." And I was
You're
like,
kidding.
"I haven't even
So it's
seen
a
it."
real thing.
It's a real thing, but
Mm.
not lately. I haven't. It was like 2020. That was
That's
the
like-
whole.
Yeah, that's almost 5 years old now,
Yeah.
right?
lately I'm getting Helena, Bozeman clients, locals that are getting pushed out of those areas because they're not as affordable,
Yes.
and they're coming to Great
I was going to ask you. So we're from Flathead, and we lived up there for a long time. Me and Levi both went to high school up there in Flathead and Glacier. And we go home now every now and then and just see how packed it is.
Dude,
And,
there used to be cornfield between Glacier and, say, Home Depot.
Yeah.
No,
Is
dude.
nothing no
It
more.
would have been way easier to skip school nowadays.
It's all city now.
You know what I
and
mean? Like, Jesus.
we're seeing
Not
a
that I
lot
ever
of
did
people
that.
we know move into the prairies, such as Great Falls, and the not so mountainous areas because it's not nearly as expensive. Only, but also we have a little more room. It feels like.
They're getting priced.
Is that a huge move for you guys, like as far as you see that a lot more as of late?
Yeah, 100%. I would say I do hear a lot about it. I hear a lot of people calling me, prospecting, essentially thinking about moving, asking us how our market is. Should we move? Should we sell? He, sold a farm and ranch. Somebody sold their place for over $1 million in Bozeman to
Nice.
buy 800 here and, have retirement, be ready to go. So it's happening. Yeah.
And I know a lot of Bozeman natives that they haven't been so much liking that, that high price.
the locals.
So I understand, like, when an older guy's like, man, I'm not doing this no more. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm literally living in Los Angeles for real. I want to take a step back though. How do you guys handle like competitive bidding? Say multiple bids on a house.
Yeah, and you're gonna see a lot. You see it a lot now anymore. You guys, like you were saying, have multiple offers on every house.
I don't want to give away all of our secrets.
For sure.
because I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
There's other agents gonna watch.
Yeah, our tips and tricks can't give all that away.
Yeah,
but
sure.
essentially, yeah, there is some things we do for if there's multiple offers. But the thing is, it's all dependent on the buyer too. What do they need? Do they need closing costs help? Do they not need closing cost help? Things
Can we
like
waive
that.
inspections? That's another one. Like if we're in a home and it is a pretty decent home, I'll talk with the buyer like, hey, we could still have a home inspection on this, but maybe we don't ask for any repairs. To
I love that came up
It
because
is a
I do
risk,
want to bring that
but
up.
there are options.
Yep.
Yep.
And you still have that contingency to where if there's a big red flag, you can bail.
So inspectors seem to be the bad guys about like the buying process and maybe even the selling
Maybe
process.
that's for you.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
What's it like dealing with that kind of environment, or what are your common issues that you come up with those guys? And
So with home inspections, I'll say this: they're only 2 hours long.
okay.
So in my opinion, it's a great overview, but are they going to get everything? Because they're not living in the house. They're not seeing everything day to day. So it is very hard to basically give you all of it, but you want an inspector to check all the major things like mechanical, roof, all that is very, very important. Are they going to catch every ding on a cabinet? Things like that? Probably not. There are going to be things that are missed. We do have references and we try to refer out in threes essentially on who we see as good home inspectors. They are all really busy right now.
Yeah.
But
I would imagine so.
yeah,
How many? I
they're
can't
not
be
going by the code though. They're not going. Well, they do have code essentially, but they're kind of just giving you a general, hey, this is what I see, what's wrong. But if you want to go to,
Have you
building
had any
codes-
deals that get extremely complicated because of them, or lose a deal because of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be more factual, not opinions. In my
And is that what you run into a lot? Is opinionated? Like,
some people can exaggerate the reports and put their opinion, and then you go and actually get a professional to evaluate it, and it could be a little different. But
yeah.
When finding a home inspector, like the ones that we use, I feel like we work with home inspectors that have a great delivery
Mhm.
and they're not going to scare you away, but they're going to give you the facts and how to fix it
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Home inspection, for the most part, I think as
Have been
long as,
pretty good.
I mean, if you have a big repair, then you get, if you have a roof, right, then you get multiple opinions on the roof and then you kind of talk about it and you get through it.
the biggest thing on home inspections, get a sewer camera. Those
Yeah.
home inspectors don't include a sewer camera, and it's just a camera that goes down the whole line. You can't see that. And actually, when the war happened a long time ago, obviously before my time, they took out a lot of the pipes and they put Orangeburg. So there are some Orangeburg pipes out here in Great Falls. And so basically it's like a tar substance and they can collapse.
Mhm.
Also, we have a lot of cast iron and not new PVC. So you don't get to see that stuff. So it's $100. It's $103 if you use a credit card. It's way
That's
worth it.
excellent advice. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And to repair a sewer line, you're looking anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to have that looked at.
So in the comments we got Darius. He said, "That's a Big 10-4. My grandpa lived in a five bedroom, 2.5 bath by himself."
Yeah.
So,
My grandpa
and that
too.
may be because of
Yeah.
availability,
that's wild. Actually, I never really even
But
considered
like,
that.
I also got another
where
one.
the grandpa's gonna go, because you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, but then they're $450. He can only sell his house for $350. What do we do? You
Right.
know? We need more one-level homes.
And then
Our buddy
Kanan
Kanan.
Lacassie says, "Tell Paul I love him." And that's you're a handsome bastard.
He said he'd tear that old ass up. We love you, Kanan. We love you, buddy. I had a question as far as you guys, man, and what kind of advantages you also bring, man. You guys have been talking about getting through inspectors or getting through some of the hurdles of finances and maybe even getting through the hurdles of owning and then getting rid of your house that you just bought, whatever it was. But like you guys do something amazing is offer ownership classes, right?
Through NeighborWorks, we'll do them. Yeah.
Yes, I seen you guys doing some expos and all that. Like, can we get into some of the courses that you guys have, front or headlined?
So we work with NeighborWorks, and they are a program here in town that will help first-time home buyers buy a home, or if you need to refinance, if you need a rehab loan, they are a great resource to go to. But basically, we just have a class where we teach you how to buy a home, and I think that it would be something that we would do on our own too someday.
Yeah, we're sponsoring in November 2025 too.
Yeah.
So.
We'll get in there before that too.
Yeah.
You did an entrepreneurship meeting recently too, didn't you? Or
You guys started like a monthly, once a month thing.
Yeah,
with
we-
Elevation, right?
We've
Oh,
tried
that was just a
to.
one-time.
was
Yeah.
it just one
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
like an event.
We've
Yeah.
done two actually. We did one at the Wild Hair,
Yeah.
and then we did one at Elevation. We're trying to make it more of a quarterly thing where it's kind of like a entrepreneur, like marketing, networking
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So
We would
just-
love to attend it, and we'd like to bring some others too.
yeah, absolutely.
Any entrepreneur, anyone doing their own thing, or people just trying to expand their
Yeah.
business.
And
We
just
got a
business
few.
people
We
in
got a
Great
few people.
Falls,
I
just
think that would love to
great way
join
to
in on that.
get to know people, meet people you don't.
How was your
know,
first
and-
two,
Almost
man?
Like a Catalina wine mixer type shit, right?
Yeah, basically.
All right.
Yeah, first two were
Yeah.
great turnout.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good feedback on it, and just again, we've been unfortunately, I guess, I don't know, fortunate, busy, so busy that we haven't been able to get the.
Get us all into a room.
Yeah. so-
Yes. It's taken a long time. This episode was a long time in the making.
Yeah.
Speaking about how busy you two in particular are as a couple, you guys have mentioned it here in this episode earlier that you guys got into buying and flipping new homes as well for you guys as a team. Using your own experience and your own story, you know what I mean, for people who are potentially going to be in your guys' shoes or wanting to buy just the flip. What was your story like so far, and how has that been for you?
Well, I guess the way we got into it is we both kind of wanted to do one. I was still selling insurance, and we had a business partner in that very first venture, and he got the loan, and Audrey fronted the money for the rehab, and I did most of the rehab. So it was kind of a 3-part series there. And I mean, for those wanting to get into it, it's a lot of hard work.
And that's kind of what I want to get into,
Yeah.
because I'm obsessed, and my mom can verify because she's obsessed, and so can my father. He's obsessed. We like to watch home building and bushcraft, and we like to. Well, not so much that it's the YouTube for us. We like to watch the YouTubers, and because they make it into like a real like you get to see the background. You know what I mean? That's what we want to watch.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. Like, what are some of the things that you've experienced kind of doing that?
Well, blood, sweat, tears, all the above. I guess a lot of people take a look at it and they're like, oh, I could do that. That's easy. It's like, that's fine. I mean, a lot of people can do it, and that's awesome. And we'd love to help you in that journey. But just know those days that I was selling insurance, I was working 8 to 5, and I was going home, grabbing a snack, changing clothes. And by 5:30, I was at that flip house until probably midnight. So it's like I was working long hours. So you get the payday, but you also sacrifice a lot of things along the way too.
Did you run into budget issues, or did you kind of actually make those? Did you that was kind of like one of the things that, you get into flipping, you think you're going to do this and, you're going to get into this excellent position by, remodeling it. But have you run into budget issues and shit like that?
So yeah, contractors are expensive nowadays. They'll tell you one number, and then at the tail end, you'll get some more money probably at the tail end. And I get that. It's just, I would say, essentially with budgeting, the biggest thing is you have to buy at a good deal. But to elaborate on that, you need to know what your ARV is, and what that is after repair value. So
There we go.
you need to do it off of today. So like today, if I buy a house and I buy it for $150, I need to know what that after repair value is in today's market right now. I'm hoping I already know. Well, an agent, I would tell my client that it's probably going to get somewhat better. So that, and then also I do about 15 to 20K in a, I guess,
Contingency.
yeah, like like an emergency fund, like
Got you.
just in case something comes up that I'm not thinking of. Run those numbers with multiple people. Find an agent if you're going to buy with an agent and sell with an agent. Run it with them. Make sure that they can elaborate or tell you where they think those numbers may be off, just so you don't have any surprises.
Got you. Okay.
How long does a flip need to get done?
Can you ask that again?
Oh, like if you buy a home to flip, how long does that flip? When does that flip need to get done?
So one of our flips, we bought cash, and so we let that thing go for a year and a half.
Because you could though.
Because
I
we
mean,
could.
yeah, right. You didn't
If-
have no serious ties to it right
if
away. I mean, you
you-
already paid for it.
It's just like everything that
Yeah.
that answer that everybody hates, and it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the situation. Depends that one.
Yeah.
Like we could sit on
Your
it,
holding
but
costs.
Most people, it's going to be 6 months to 9 months. You're going to want to get rid of that thing,
Yeah.
just so that you can make sure that for one, a construction loan, if you are using money from a bank, they're probably going to want their money back within that 6 to 9 month range. Or even hard money lenders, they're going to want their money back because the longer it takes you, the more interest you're going to pay on those and the less
Right.
profit you're going to
This may or may not be a question for you guys, but I'm going to shoot anyways, just in case it is. When you get into that position after you already got your house into where you are either going to rent it or sell it, what do you like find more interesting? And if it's, I guess here's my question. Where do you think you should place yourself as far as selling or buying? You know, I mean, or renting. I meant like as far as to your potential area afterwards.
We try to go in and have a plan before we start. So we
Mhm.
either go in and we're saying we're going to Airbnb this one, we're going to keep this one, or we're not. Usually, if it's a flip, you want to go in thinking it's a flip because usually that needs to be on a budget and your numbers are tight. But
Okay.
if
There we
you
go.
at the tail end, you're like, we killed it out of the park, the numbers make sense now to switch it to hold on to it. I always say hold.
And when you hold, does that give you the advantage of maybe taking out money loans later so you can maybe purchase another
Yeah.
property in the process? Is that kind of one of the advantages of holding?
Yep. I say it builds your net worth, and your net
Got
worth
you.
is important to build more on your rental portfolio. And yeah, you can upscale to something else. You can 1031 exchange into another property and build your rental portfolio essentially.
See, those are tips and tricks that people got to know.
Yes, and I think that's good for anybody that's looking to buy here in the future for that
Or
purpose.
even if they own their home right now. I mean, most people that have owned their home for at least 5 years have a very large chunk of equity. And if they want to get into having a flip or having a rental, they could use their equity that they have now, pull it out, buy a rental, buy a flip, still own the house that they have.
And nobody seems to understand that.
And then you
It's a
just
big
keep
miss.
going. You just keep having a domino effect, and then eventually the homes will start paying for themselves.
Do you,
Got you.
do you guys deal in multi-family units as well?
Yeah, we do multifamily. We've done commercial. We do farm and ranch. Yeah.
It's like I just seen you guys are selling that old auto world.
Mhm.
The ninth.
Yep,
Seen your
I'm
post
working
about
on
that.
one. Yep. Stay tuned on that. Can't disclose too much on that one yet, but yeah, it's in the works.
But it's listed.
yeah.
That's right. Somebody
Yeah.
shout out to Dusty Wilson. You guys helped him find like the perfect spot for his home and business.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
go,
I
man.
also
Let's
have to say
go.
hi to Becky and Riker.
Yeah.
There you go. Becky and Riker are also in the building. There we go.
What are some of the most common issues that you come across in the purchasing process? In how, you know, I mean, because
Thinking of all the issues I had to
as far as you know, buyers being scared or purchasing process, maybe they thought they had their finances in order, or you know what I mean, like something that you guys normally run into that.
Don't
common.
buy a car or do anything to your credit 2 days before closing. Don't quit your job.
Do you see that
Don't
often though?
buy
Like more often
furniture.
than not?
You would be surprised. It happens. But I try to reiterate it every time because you just never know. And we get it. Some people don't really know those things. But yeah, the time that you do your application, they run your credit and that sort of thing. You want to keep it the same, if not better. So, you usually put on your application how much is in your account, what, your debt to income, all that stuff. So as soon as you go and buy a car and ruin your credit, or it basically hits your credit, it could affect that with underwriting. And underwriting is very, very difficult right now. It's tight knit because of rates and things like that and affordability. So you just want to be careful.
That's a great answer.
Another
Thank you for
one-
that. No, it was perfect. That was it perfectly answered.
Another one would be appraisals. They come at the very end of the deal. So you get through home inspection, and then your realtor orders an appraisal to get done. The appraiser comes in and they basically say, hey, here's the value that we're getting from the home for the home. And then whatever that value is all that the lender will allow. So even if you have say you're under contract for 150 and the lender or the appraiser comes back and says it's worth 100, well, you have a really big problem.
Do you guys become negotiators at that point?
I think we're negotiating the whole time.
Yeah, like, because that's one thing that I could see you guys not only, because I don't think a lot of people understand how much you guys do in the process of purchasing or selling a home.
And if a home doesn't appraise, it reopens all negotiations within the deal. So whatever was negotiating during your home inspections, on the buy sell, on the very initial offer, it all is, you can kind of start from scratch essentially, but yes.
I think Levi had something here.
I did, but just go ahead. Oh,
You got it?
no, go. Sorry, I'll read one.
Okay, so you're getting a lot of attention from out-of-state buyers and stuff. Have you guys run into anybody interesting yet? Anybody hit that line? I'm looking at Montana.
In terms of celebrities?
Yeah,
They're not moving.
or someone just super interesting as far as that.
They're moving to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I
They're
get
going
it.
to Whitefish. Yeah.
Big
Right.
sky.
Like, I think for like people moving in, I have a lot of military that I help. Otherwise, I feel like I'm getting a lot of Bozeman. I'm getting a lot of Kalispell because out-of-staters are moving there. Not even
That is so wild to me that you guys both have reiterated the same thing. It's like in-staters moving closer in-state.
Like, I think there's this big thing that like all these Californians are moving into Great Falls, but they're moving to Bozeman. They're moving to Whitefish, and then the people that grew up there are having to move here. Yeah.
Are you guys mostly, as far as Dustin, or even just the premier team in general? Are you guys mostly focusing on like homes, or is it commercial, like you're saying, or even as in like farming property and stuff like that?
We focus on service, but we essentially do it all. We want to give everyone the best service, and we understand some people think that we get paid too much, that sort of thing. There's a lot of talk in that. We want you to find value in who you hire.
I think it's funny that people want to talk about that because isn't home buying one of the most important aspects of your entire life, and you want to have someone you can trust and put someone behind that? I think so. When someone's saying that, they're not understanding that you're buying trust.
I think
really
people also don't see all the deals that don't happen. I mean, there's been times you're working with someone for 9 months and then they get told they have to move out of town. So there's a lot of that too that you don't really see.
I found one up here. I'll figure it out. I lost it again.
Okay, so you guys are both as part of a team, you guys both have separate avenues here. You, Amber, are into the renting field, right? So when you're handling rentals and stuff like that, what are the like some of the benefits of you becoming the renter? And you hear of all the nightmares from all renting stories. Have you yourself running into those, or how do you prevent a lot of that?
Yeah, so with our rental properties, I don't hire a property manager because I feel like I want to meet the people that are going to be moving into there. So we put it on Zillow, the applications come in, and then I just go and kind of meet everybody and let them tell me how they're living their life. And if I get a good feeling from the people that I'm going to be renting, then, I make sure they have a job, all of that. And then I put on there like, hey, every 3 months I am going to do kind of like a little check. And even though it's like really annoying, I know, and I put that in the lease, I know that if these people are okay with me coming every 3 months, then they're going to be good people to rent. The moment that they're like, oh no, that's too much, I'm like, because half the time I don't even do it.
Yeah.
But like if
it's more of it's an idea, there's safety idea.
Like I want to know, like, are you okay with me just popping by? And the moment they tell me, yeah, I'm kind of like, okay.
Have you had pretty decent luck with having good renters then? Because it sounds like you have.
Yeah, I will say that cats are a no-go for me.
Can we talk about it? You always hear about it. Let's just talk about it. What what's the issue with pets and all that? I know you can get the stinky ones and all that.
We had a renter and they had a cat in there, and she was grandfathered into the rental. Meaning that we bought the fourplex and she was already living in it, and she had a cat. And when she moved out, my goodness, like we had to tear out everything. We had to tear the subfloor, flooring, everything had to go. Everything had to be painted. Cats are no joke. They will ruin a home. You can be clean, and if your cat sprays, it's thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is serious as they put it out there to be.
Yeah.
From a flipper standpoint, it's our nightmare. So
Really?
yeah, because Kills does not kill it all the time. Kills is a primer. So sometimes you do have to take the subfloor out or sheetrock it. It just depends. Some places are worse than others. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was some of the main concerns that I kind of like was thinking as flipping houses, is that you run into mold issues that can be hidden, and if you run into those, is it a nightmare? Almost is that something that you pray you don't run into, or is it something that you find more often that's fixable?
I would say if you have mold, more than likely you're taking everything out that has it.
Yeah, so it is a real thing that you just see, you just hate to see it.
I found it. What is a first-time home buyer's mistakes that you guys see, and what's one of the most common, and how could they avoid that?
They don't reach out to us quick enough. I think that if you're thinking about buying a home, call a realtor, talk to them about it, get in contact with the lender, and don't wait on it. Just figure out the numbers and where you're at.
Yeah, that's everyone's like, oh, I can't afford to buy a house. Have you talked to a lender? No. So it's don't say that you can't afford it, or if you don't even know the numbers. So you just gotta talk to somebody and get what your actual number is. And at that point, ourselves, as well as the lender, the whole team, again, it's a team effort, right? We can all kind of help you with that process. No one's better than one another. It's hey, this is what you can afford, but you guys want to be in this price range. These are the things we have to do to get you to that price point. So whether it's paying off certain credit cards, or getting rid of certain debts, or just saving a little bit more money for the next 6 months or whatever, just things like that.
To add to that, we have lenders that we work with that actually have apps. Not paying off a credit card in full sometimes helps you. Sometimes paying off a certain amount to a certain credit card. They have resources. So we work with lenders that have done that specifically with some of our clients. And it took another 3 months, and then they reran their credit, and then they were good to go. Some of them took 6 months, some of them took a year.
And you guys work with NeighborWorks and stuff like that. So that help build those kind of profiles if you guys are not in that position, right? And I guess this is where it might take all three of you guys to kind of piece it together. But if you guys had a checklist, what are 5 major things that would indicate a good investment to purchase?
Location, layout, location. Yep. Layout.
That's hilarious.
Layout, buying, at a good price. Essentially making sure the repairs, if it has a lot of repairs that you need to do over time, and making sure you negotiate that right is whether it's a good purchase or a bad purchase. That's 4.
Again, if you get into it and you're buying it, and you buy, your monthly payment is $2,000, but you're making $3,000, that's probably not a good investment, because now you're going to get house broke.
Mm.
So just knowing your numbers and what is comfortable to you is huge.
Yeah, we don't want you house broke.
Yeah. We want you to take vacations and own a home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
What are some key factors you guys look for when buying a home in the neighborhood?
That's a great question. Like neighborhood searching and stuff. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. What are some key factors as a realtor, I guess?
Well, we can't discriminate against neighborhoods for ethics, but essentially.
I mean, being realistic though, I'll ask. I'll be upfront. Being realistic, what are the things that you kind of search for as far as that? Is it crime rate, obviously?
Well, and the interesting fact in the state of Montana, you don't have to disclose if somebody died in a home.
Oh, really?
So now, if my buyer asked and I knew, I would let them know. Because I would maybe want to know.
Yeah.
So absolutely, but you don't have. But we can disclose and basically say, the price per square foot, some areas, and why, and they would probably know why certain areas. So like Fox Farm sells at a really high price per square foot, and so does Riverview, and then downtown is a little less.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
And there's also Great Falls because of Giant Springs.
That was kind of my other thing. Is
there's a very
tourism?
high-
Are those things that come into factors?
Yeah,
Is
it's
tourism and stuff?
As
Yeah.
tourism, yes, but also, believe it or not, that there's a very high water table due to that. So there are certain areas of Great Falls that foundations and things like that, settling is going to be a bigger factor and a bigger issue than some other areas. So you're going to want to make sure you double check those things, or if there is water getting into the house, you want to know whether it's because of a water table issue or because it's actually like the sprinkler system or bad foundation, drainage, things like that.
And this might be a reach, but do you guys go as far as kind of looking at the customer as a person? Be like, all right, so this location is going to work for you guys as far as like accessibility for stores and shit like that.
So honest. We are so honest.
we are very honest.
That's one
I-
thing you guys kind of dig
I
into.
have literally walked into a house and then looked at a few things and told my clients, like, you don't want to buy this house. And we would leave because we're not going to sell you something that we wouldn't be happy to buy either.
That's
Very honest.
so.
And that's what sets you guys apart.
Mhm.
Premier team, baby.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's one of the things that you guys want to hurdle immediately when you guys are building rapport on your guys' customers?
Trust.
Mhm.
Trust is huge.
Yeah,
you find it
trust.
often, like do you guys find them that like they don't trust you, or like what's kind of?
I think I just had a listing appointment today. It's communication is what does it for them. So we have set systems. We call our clients every Tuesday for a reason. We want you to not feel lost in the transaction. Some clients need us every day, and that's okay. Blow me up for all. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine with us. But communication is a big thing because it can get really scary buying a house, and they need reassurance and they need to know where they're at. So
Rad.
Didn't one of you guys say that someone treated you guys like a therapist there for a while?
Yeah, no. I seen you posted. I think,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
found it
So
hilarious,
you have
dude.
to think, like, so when you're working with an agent, whether you're buying or selling, you are going to be talking to them every single day. So communication is huge. Like, I have some clients who are texting me at 8 a.m. and it's 9 o'clock at night and I'm still getting text messages. Like, you become pretty close and you have to talk a lot. So having that communication, and like, there's so many times I've had people whose spouse passed away or their parents passed away and we have to sell their home, and
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine that. Actually, I could see that falling pretty heavy on you guys. That's crazy, actually.
Conversations that you have to have. We're talking about your finances. Sometimes you've lost a job and you've got behind, and now you're looking at foreclosure. Like, people move. Yeah,
those are
divorce.
tough conversations.
Yeah,
I guess you guys just don't see.
People are sometimes going through it when they have to move, and sometimes they don't want to, but they have to.
And then again, there you see that trust factor come right back in. So when people want to talk price, you're like, you guys are really buying trust and honesty into that factor. You can buy an untrustworthy real estate agent and get fucked in the long run.
That takes 4 days to call you back.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Right
saying?
here.
You guys are kept us flowing for over almost 50 minutes
I know,
now,
look at that.
and
It wasn't that scary. That was
nonstop. She was over here shaking in her
terrifying.
boots. You guys are amazing, and you guys have done awesome. You guys come loaded, and you guys have not stopped, and no speed bumps along the way. I just want to say thank you for taking your time. You guys have been really hard to get in here.
And that's just clarification of how well these three work
Ooh,
together.
we're crackling somewhere. Was it me?
Probably.
It might have been. I think we're still crackling. Do you hear that?
Hello? Can you guys hear us? Or-
Hopefully it's not me. I don't know. Something just happened. Anyhow, it was really hard to get you guys in here. I'm happy we had a moment with you and got your guys' story out here as good as we could. I want to get you guys back in here, and maybe individually, so we can get you guys' story individually out here.
absolutely.
Levi, you have anything you want to add? I want to fix this mic. I'm having issues.
Yeah. So
Hello.
tell us what you guys is.
Is it your cord?
I don't know. Hello?
Hers?
I don't know what we're doing here.
Something happened, and it just happened.
It sounded good 2 minutes ago. Anyways, your guys is I guess premier team plan.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Thanks,
Kyle.
Kyle. Your guys is a 3-year plan as premier team. Like, where do you guys see the growth going in the next 3 to 5?
Oh, that's awesome.
Please refer us, and and please, please send. We are a business by referral, so the more you send our way, the more we want to do to the community or for the community as well. We have some big things coming that we couldn't do this year.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so
You guys got giveaways, right?
we do have giveaways coming in December. I will mention probably next year we'll get it going, but we're working out some kinks and things like that. We are hoping to give away some roofs.
Whoa.
I
mean, that's fucking sick, dude. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's sick.
We're
Whoever's
working
out there.
the logistics, what we can do, what we can't do, but essentially we want it to be to a primary residence owner, not an investor, somebody in the community that really needs a roof and things like that. So your support helps us kind of give back, and we know a lot of people out there need help.
You're doing a couple smaller giveaways too, drawing some
Yep.
drawing some followers to your guys'
Yep.
way on your guys' social medias.
Yep. That will, and then we are hoping to grow the premier team. That is on our radar. We are an accountability team, but we do, we just want the best. We want everyone to work together and things like that. And we know not all agents, are kind of work all around the clock, kind of like we do. But yeah, it's just hard to find people that, kind of mesh well with you. So.
Well, you guys have treated us amazing.
Thank you.
You guys are the best. I love what you guys are doing as a team, not only for what you guys are doing as yourselves, but I love how much you guys put on Great Falls and how much you've supported us. So thank you guys. We appreciate that for standing with us and staying with us throughout the year, because it's been a wild ride for us, and you guys just keep climbing. I love that Levi asked what you guys had planned for the next 3 years, because you guys just keep growing. I see your guys' faces now. You guys have a billboard.
Well, it's down.
I think it was like a 90-day, right? In a prime location on the west
It
side.
was the best location. What are you talking about, man?
Because if you're at
Walmart,
yeah, it's like if you're ordering Starbucks, yeah, you're looking right at
Right there every morning. Hello.
Yeah, it was good.
So I guess I want to say welcome to the Billboard clan. We had a billboard for a bit. It was cool.
On the digital one by you guys, actually.
Shout out to our boy Billboard Nerds, man.
The Shark Slayer.
The Shark Slayer.
If you guys don't know,
that's our dog.
He pulled in a 10-foot shark. What kind of shark was that?
Bull shark.
Bull shark.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
huge, dude.
You should hear that fucker.
On another note, you guys, we're heading off to LA. This will be our last episode.
Yeah, we thought
before
Saturday
LA.
was, but hell no.
Yeah, this is gonna be our last one before LA, and we're taking off with our boy Harvey Singh. He's sponsoring most of this trip, so shout out to Singh on Contracting Inc. It will be a really cool vlog that me and Levi will be putting together. It's gonna be rad. LA is gonna be different from a different perspective through the eyes of Harvey and Taj.
Hell yeah,
it'll be sick.
And we gotta get back on our boy Cyrus fees.
Oh yeah,
And
we're
Jeff
meeting up with
Houston.
Cyrus. Yeah, we got another pickleball game lined up with Cyrus and them boys over there.
Because they like 11-2 us. We got bad dogged.
Yeah,
Our first game was
we
ass.
did.
Me and Ty were like, "Oh yeah, we're good at this shit." Then Cyrus is like, "Back up, dude. I'm gonna
This
count
fool-
your feet."
Hey, he was not lying though. His serve was unbeatable.
Oh yeah, he definitely plays. You can tell.
He plays hella
What about you guys? You guys get in like that?
pickleball. I know
There's a
you
time
love
for it. All right. For some reason, we're switching over here now.
Okay, so we have no idea what just happened, but it crashed at the end. So I just want to
That's why we
say
always have the backup computer.
let's just shout out our sponsor here while they're in house, man. If you guys are in the search of any buying or selling purchases, processing in the Rillington service in Great Falls area, make sure you hit up the best in the business. That's the premier team. They're out of Dustin Young, and make sure that you get a hold of one of these three individuals: Amber, Audrey, and Paul.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You guys have been the best.
Thank you. I want to play some Mexican music, and then we can get out of here, I guess.
Yeah, you can't fuck around with that computer when we're live.
Yeah. Well,
Halftime Sports Bar, the best sports bar in town. Catch all of the action on our big screens, enjoy your favorite drinks, and savory mouthwatering tacos provided by Taco Treat. Feeling lucky? Head over to our casino with hot machines at Emerald City Casino, where the thrill never stops. And for a more laid-back vibe, check out Amigo Lounge, our sister establishment, offering a perfect blend of relaxation and fun, and food. Halftime Sports Bar, where sports, gaming, and great times come together. Your go-to destination for excitement in every quarter. Join us today and make every moment a winning one.
Kill it.
what?
Elevate your vaping and smoking experience with 20 Past 4, Montana's premier vape, water pipe, and accessory shop. Discover a world of possibilities at 5 convenient locations, 2 in Great Falls, 1 in Helena, 1 in Billings, and for our friends in Arizona, we've got you covered with a location in sunny Prescott. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are ready to guide you through the latest trends, ensuring you to find the fit for your lifestyle. Plus, don't miss out on exciting promotions and discounts, making your shopping experience even better. 20 Past 4, where quality meets satisfaction. Visit us today at one of our 5 convenient locations.
And don't forget, if you need anything taken out, I said anything taken out, you call our boy Kyle Hudson at Hudson's Trash Removal, because he'll get it removed for you. He's the dog, he's the man, and he doesn't ask no questions if he can't. All right.
It's because the bus said so.
You heard? We're out. We are the Weekly Bust. You know, got to pull the Joker. And I'm